HDD with an SSD drive, and later on in the segments, but mainly what I wanted to touch on at the very beginning is that you see that the system is very, very graphic intensive. Now for like streamers, it's not necessarily following what the protocol that they had for like the Pro list, I guess, because you look at those game titles that they have, like, you know, it's kind of nice. I'll be playing Uncharted pretty soon because it's on the list. I tried Dishonored 2, it didn't really work too well for the 1080p res, like on computers, but Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, should I say, awesome. So it's like, you know, you have these points where you can actually enjoy it, but what you need to understand if you have a PlayStation Pro and you're wondering, why can't I get the graphics to go up any higher? Well, first off, you need a 4K TV. If you do not have a 4K TV, it will not utilize the UHD to upres into the quality standard, and you have to connect directly from the PlayStation to the TV. A little fun factoid, you can't go through like a media center or to go through it. It has to go through 4K to TV. Otherwise, you're just bridging 4K to 1080p, and then all it produces is 1080p, which a lot of the struggles on streaming has been up there, because I was streaming No Man's Sky and was relentless with able to be able to provide for the viewers the quality that they wanted at the 1080p for frames. It actually crashed it, which I'll be showing later on. And like little brief comparisons with a CPU readout, where you can see like I guess the intensities of when it's working right and when it's not working at all, because the quality is definitely there in Tomb Raider and it shows, and that's like been the one that's worked the most. Even like in Dishonored, where it fails, and it matches that of the 720p, but offers like glitchy time rates. So it's like, you know, if you're wondering why this is happening, the easy fix is to dial it back to just the plain 1080p. If you know, only have 1080p, don't go to 60 frames per second, it'll screw it up. Or you can just go to this, you know, 720p 60 frame if you want more of a cutting edge frame rate. It's your choice as a streamer. You have that choice to make, honestly. But, you know, you also have to ask, you know, it's like, do you have that 4K TV? So PlayStation 4 has a lot of pros and cons when it comes down to the new system that is a 4.5 basically. PlayStation Pro is a 4.5 version of it to the PlayStation 5, what we're getting to see with a lot of like mid-year like leaps in technologies, with being able to compete more with PC, like, but never really catching up. PC always will be ahead. It's just the name of the game when you can, you know, pimp out your processors, add more RAM, and, you know, spin some, you know, SSD tracks. So, you know, honestly, one of the things that I've noticed, though, is that the quality of streaming for the videos are not as where they're supposed to be. Now, you do come across some games like Tomb Raider, which is it's an awesome game. I'm going to be going down the pro list and seeing what games do work with the 1080p 60 frames per second, because I noticed that most will work under 1080p. So if you've been having issues streaming at all, fellow streamers trying to get to your viewers are like, oh my gosh, what's going on with your freaking stream? Because I had a lot of viewers that were just like, dude, what's up? So look into that. It's more like mainly a PC kind of basis type thing, I've noticed, not necessarily more than like past to that, because like I've noticed on my mobile phone I've been able to access, and I don't know if it's just, you know, the mobile phone I have is like more cutting edge that's able to compete with a 4K kind of like 1080p kind of resed like video game looking style. But, you know, looking into where we're going with these segment is I'm going to be showing you how to replace your SSD drive and pimping it out from the original, which would have been your, you know, internal hard disk drive. So, you know, they're cool, but, you know, the terabyte it offers is like decent, but it's nothing of an upgrade. You know, if you want to make your PlayStation Pro go really well, the first question you have to ask yourself is, do you have a 4K TV? So, point being is, if you have a 4K TV, which I have this nice Samsung to back it up, which is really cool because I was able to take that picture in 4K. I slipped it in. I figured out how to do that with my phone really quick. It's usually where I go with my Pokemon walks. really get a lot of Pokemon at the same exact spot, actually. But that I digress. The point that I'm getting at is with the PlayStation, you end up asking yourself, well, can I make it go faster? Will it be faster? And when you look at the specs, the GPU is the same in the 1.0 Slim, but when you go to the Pro, it's vastly improved, which is great, because you get a little bit more performance where you get these like 2K points. Because I say 2K because it's not native 4K, unfortunately, but it is a step in the right direction for people that have made these investments of like TVs that want to utilize them a little bit better. So with this, I made an investment of an SSD drive, which I got the Evo 750. It was a great investment. This is the original hard drive, this lovely beauty right here, which is the 1 terabyte that it comes standard with for the actual PlayStation. Now, when you get past that point, you still have the same standards. You know, you have your CPU and your RAM running the same exact points, just newer versions of what's going on in the PlayStation family. But, you know, really cool unit. So for me, I wanted to pimp it out even further past the GPU, which was buying this SATA drive, which was 3, which was a selling point for me. It was SATA 3 compatible, because I really wasn't impressed too much with the PlayStation Pro, but that's what sold me, honestly. My old PlayStation, unfortunately, broke. The power condenser went out. It still works, just it's very very picky on when it won't work. You have to boot it up. It's like an old car you have. You just keep hoping, like, you turn the key, you're like, is this gonna work? But I'm gonna show you how to pop it open and change out the drive. It's really, really simple, honestly. All you have to do is put your thumb right there. Bam! Hear that click? Comes right off. Take this lovely tool, not a sonic screwdriver, just your normal screwdriver. Go ahead. Make sure you ground yourself out. You may want to make sure that, honestly, you do not make the decision. Oh, wrong size. But grab my new awesome toy. So, getting the right tools always helps the project fill itself out. But with this, as you can see, is going to give you a complete different performance. So, this is literally the only thing you're really going to have to worry about for the most part, besides changing out the hard drive. So once you have that out, it's going to slide out. And I'm going to come up and show. You can see that that's the canal of the actual carriage of the SSD. Right there, that it fits directly inside of there. So this thing is really, really light, honestly, and you have 4 screws really that you're going to like have to worry about for the most part. But you're going to notice that there's also a big gap compared to the other one, where it's like when you take it out, there's going to be a pretty hefty unit as you pull out. But this is really simple. I mean, honestly, just pushing it back in. I mean, just, you know, gently make it sure, again, you're grounded. Always want to make sure you're grounded in electronics. Shit can go cray. But let's go ahead and reinstall it right back. This is obviously going to be the after point of after you utilize this puppy. Right there. And there it is. You've upgraded from this, the original, the OG, the kind of dinosaur, but still kind of cool. Because dinosaurs are cool, they were big, which this thing is, but just couldn't keep up. This I've loved. Day one, out of the package, very hefty, but very good. So, what you have to ask yourself, do you have 4K TV? Do you want to make it run faster, or do you want to have it just as is? These are the questions you can ask yourself when installing this. You can find most hard drives online for like, I think 130-ish for like the 500 gig range. Terabytes, it jumps up leaps and bounds. I mean, you're basically buying another system at that point. And I don't know, with technology, it always comes like to be down to the point that, you know, next year you'll probably see a terabyte of the, you know, SSD, and it will be like $100, and you'll be like, why? Why did I buy it at that point in time? But hey, make the choice.